Nota TV Power Talk. Kindly subscribe, share, promote Nota TV for protecting the democratic values. This is the 1,000,000,000 question in the minds of the common people. Why government of India allowed migrant labor to walk hundreds of the kilometers from the metro cities to reach their homes? On this subject, we are discussing Nota TV Power Talk with one of the powerful guests, Swami Agnivesh, who is rendered his total life for the protection of the rights of the labor. Maybe bonded, maybe migrate, maybe organized, maybe unorganized. Swami
Thank you
Agnivesh,
so
welcome
much.
to Nota TV Power Talk.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Swamiji, who are the responsible for this panic incident? Crores of the migrant labor walking on the national highways to reach their homes.
First and foremost, I hold our country's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, responsible for it. He should be held accountable for it. Why did he delay the announcement of the lockdown? Before the lockdown was announced on the night of 24th of March, why did he not the meeting with the National Disaster Management Authority? And why did the National Disaster Management Authority not lay out a plan about the migrant laborers? Crores of them were spread all over India. If around, say, 10th of March, because WHO has already announced pandemic on 30th of January. We wasted whole of February and March nearly till the end. The BJP government and the party was busy in pulling down Kamal Nath government in Madhya Pradesh. And with that objective, they tried to delay it as much as possible. With the result, when they announced it suddenly, there was hardly 4-hour notice. And therefore, all these migrant laborers were caught in a trap. And they are now suffering in this very, very exploitative situation because of the fault of one person, that is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Swami Agnivesh, coronavirus is the universal pandemic, and more than 200 countries are suffering with this virus. At this juncture, immediately announcing the lockdown, other than this, do we have any solution?
Well, lockdown can be one of the solutions. But for us Indians, we should realize that our foremost duty was to make sure that none of these migrant laborers who have contributed so much, the wealth generation in this country, building and everything, they should suffer. And their only desire is to go back home with the family. Whatever happens after that, they are ready to accept it. But even now, there are thousands and thousands of them, millions of them are walking on the roads. And this, I think, lockdown has failed. The so-called lockdown and that social distancing and washing your hands for 20 seconds, all of these prescriptions look ridiculous. Because if these people don't have water to drink, and you are asking them to wash your hands so many times every day for 20 seconds each, this and that, wear the mask. Where do they bring the mask? They don't have money to purchase the mask. Now, all of these things, I think, governments are criminally callous and they are responsible for letting all this happen.
Swami Agnivesh, how many migrant workers are engaged in the industry? Do government have any statistics?
Well, the government has given statistics. Last year's budget speech, our Piyush Goyal had mentioned the unorganized labor in this country is contributing nearly 50% of our GDP. Our Union Labour Minister, Santosh Gangwar, gave out the actual figure, 50 crore of them, 500 million of them. And he also said their contribution is more than 50%. We NGOs or activists who have been working among these unorganized labor, we consider their contribution to be no less than 60 to 65%. It's a huge, huge population. It's a national shame that they have to leave their own family, village, everything, and go for just make a living out of their labor to far off states, far off, not nearby, thousands of kilometers away. And why? Why cannot we provide them jobs in their own home state, in their own village or nearby villages? So we have completely failed in this last 70 long years. And that, I think, is something which cannot be excused. And we should find out what can be done now with the sense of urgency, sense of priority. This is, I think, we should ponder over.
Swamiji, recently Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi ji and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ji announced a special economic package which sectors are affecting the coronavirus. In that, majorly they emphasized about the migrant labor. Do they get any benefit with this special economic package?
I don't think they have got anything very special for the migrant laborers. They have announced it for MS, MEA, etc., many other things. And some of these had already been announced by the Reserve Bank of India way back. And now the same thing is being repeated. Nirmala Sitharaman is, whatever announcement she is making was already in her budget speech. Even earlier to Sitharaman, Arun Jaitley in his budget speech has mentioned some of these. So nearly 8 lakh crore had already been taken care of by Reserve Bank and other institutions. What remains of this 12 lakh is something for people who have been waiting. What is the priority for their spending? What is the sort of share of these migrant laborers in this? Except for saying that their monthly ration will be so many kilogram of whatever food grain, 1 kilogram of chana, this and that. Nothing has been said. All those living below poverty line in this country, and the government has got all their bank account, Jan Dhan Yojana. Why don't the government transfer this direct benefit to their accounts? Minimum 7,500 rupees per laborer. Why don't they do it immediately? If Trump can, USA can provide 1,500 US dollar to every citizen who needs it, deserves it. Why can't we do it much lesser amount? Taking into account their misery, how we have exploited them for long 70 years. This was the time to repay our debt and tell them that, look, now onwards we will not be doing anything which will be that exploitative, which will throw you out, force you to migrate to. This was not real migration. Migration is always out of one's own willingness. But it's a distress migration. Distress migration is equal to trafficking. And trafficking is a crime. So it's a criminal thing which has been happening in this country for so many long years. And to stop all of this interstate migration, in 1979, when I was also in the government in the state of Haryana, our union minister, Ravindra, he had introduced a legislation in the parliament and passed it called Interstate Migrant Labour Act 1979, which has a human face, which makes some very beautiful arrangements for those who are to migrate for any reason. And they are entitled to yearly leave, and the employer has to pay for part of journey and also half a month's salary. Their stay, a place of work with the rooms, with the washing facilities, bathing facilities, and this and that. Everything in detail has been worked out. But this law since 1979 has not been put into operation till now. Not a single migrant laborer has benefited. Long 40 years. Why? Why has this been neglected? And so many millions of them not getting minimum wages. And what is a minimum wage? Why is there so much of difference between the wages of organized workers and unorganized workers? Article 14, 15, 16 of our Constitution talks about equality in wages, not just between men and women, but also between organized sector and unorganized sector. More than half a dozen Supreme Court judgments are there, division bench judgments. Division bench judgments are normally a law unto themselves. They have not been implemented. Repeatedly, the Supreme Court has laid down that if an industry or anybody not able to implement this type of a parity between organized and unorganized, they should better close down their shop and industry. To that extent, they have pronounced, but nothing was implemented. This has been a great national tragedy, disaster. It's a catastrophe which was just waiting for our country to happen. And coronavirus has exposed very badly, very ugly this aspect of our national labor.
Swami Agnivesh, more than 200 migrant labor were died since last 2 months of the lockdown. Met with some accident, starvations are there because of no food, because of something. More than 200 migrant labor died in different states, different cities. Who are the responsible for this? State governments or central government?
Both of them are responsible. Why from the day one, whenever this lockdown was announced, even taking sort of responsibility for it that it was done very late, they should have started the trains from all over the country. Whoever wants to go back to one's village, they should have been given all the preference and seating arrangements properly, sanitized, etc., with food and whatever, water, etc. They should have been sent back home. Why was this not done? Even now, everybody can see on the television screen millions of workers walking on the streets. The central government is appealing, please don't be on the streets. Stay where you are. The laborers do not trust these governments, neither the center nor the state governments. They want some facility, the trains and the buses. And who build the trains? Who lays down these patries and everything? Everything is being done by the labor. And therefore, I think this was the time when we should have made all train journey free with all the safeguards and with the dignity for the labor. That should have been our first call. Instead, we are announcing all these other programs which are long term, which are middle term, and nothing of what Nirmala Sitharaman has elaborated going to benefit our migrant laborers right now. So I hold them all accountable and responsible.
Swamiji, as of now, we don't have migrant labor's data. In spite of central government is trying their own best to make it Aadhaar data, CAA, NRC, whatever the citizenship related data. Then why they fail to collect the migrant labor's bonded labor and other unorganized sector labor data in India?
If India has got unorganized labor and the strength is about 50 crore, 500 million, the treatment that has been meted out to them all these long years since our independence and our constitution, they are in a situation of forced labor. And whoever is a forced laborer is a bonded labor. So if this is the law which has been laid down, then why has this modern day slavery allowed to perpetuate itself? From my point of view, from my organization point of view, Bonded Labor Liberation Front, all these 500 million workers, laborers fall into the category of bonded labor, forced labor. And millions of them are child bonded labor. No, there has been no urgency. There is no sort of a commitment to give them justice, equality, equal opportunity, or for that matter, anything. They were always thought to be something expendable. Most of them happen to be from Dalits, from Adivasis, among the backward, women, and such other minorities. So they always were invisible from the national discourse. And all these policies have failed all these years. This was the time to ask this question up front and say, now we will try to bring about a course correction, complete course correction. And if we really want to make this country self-reliant, Prime Minister said, let us start with these people. Let us give them jobs in their home state. Let us give them decent wages. Why a class 4 employee in the government office is entitled to 7th pay commission, and which is minimum wage is 18,000 rupees. With other benefits, it comes to 25,000 rupees, a minimum. An amount of work he does for 8 hours and with a security of service for 30 long years. Compare that with the work of the unorganized laborer. How much more hazardous work he has been putting or she has been putting. And what the wages they have been getting. Everywhere you will find violation of minimum wages in the states which have fixed their own minimum wage, but that's not being operationalized. So this has been a tragedy. And whereas we have been demanding, and now all the national trade unions have agreed that 7th pay commission criteria should be applicable to the entire range of unorganized labor. For the last 5 years, they have been holding protests and everything. So, but that is not being listened to. On the contrary, the state governments are now starting with UP, Madhya Pradesh, etc., to completely do away with all this labor legislation. Whatever little protection they have, either on paper or in implementation, that is being taken away. This is a really, really disastrous. So I think this is a great hour of urgency, and we should raise our full-throated voice. Each one of us, we are duty-bound to raise our voice for these voiceless, millions, defenseless, disadvantaged people.
Swamiji, do you have any international data how the developed countries are dealing with migrant labor issues? Now, what are the universal declarations if such kind of any emergencies, any pandemic situation, how we have to protect the migrant labor or any unorganized sector labor, international prospect?
Well, India has been signatory to all these ILO conventions.
Yeah.
But migrant labor, unorganized labor, minimum wage, so many other things, but they are all being violated. Each one of them. Not only the government trade unions have started writing to ILO. The government of India is not listening. They are now approaching the International Labour Organization to say that this is not acceptable, including BMS. Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh is considered to be labor front of the ruling party BJP. They are all protesting. Nobody is taking them seriously. And corona pandemic, coronavirus, etc., social distance, this and that, testing, PPE, and other things are dominating the discussion. So I think there are enough safeguards. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The first article says we are all born, for all human beings, born equal. But in our country particularly, and also world over, by birth there is discrimination between a low caste and a high caste, between a male child and a female child. That discrimination continues for the whole life. This is not just discrimination. I call it structural violence, systemic violence. And that is what needs to be addressed. Why should any child be called poor? It's not his or her fault to be born somewhere. It's not the fault of the child to be born in a high caste or low caste. How can you call some child mooch another child meets just by birth? And why so many female peticides taking place in this country? Why a girl child is being aborted in mother's own womb? So these are horrible situations. Nobody takes them seriously.
Swamiji, few state governments abolished state labor welfare laws during the lockdown. For example, Maharashtra and other few states, Swamiji. What is the motto behind this abolition of the labor welfare rescue and rehabilitation laws?
This is criminal. Criminal carelessness, negligence to allow for their exploitation more inhumanly. And this is against our constitution. Article 21 of Fundamental Rights chapter of the Constitution talks about right to life with dignity. And that includes all those directive principles of the state policy also. Article 43 of our directive principles in the Constitution says we should have living wage for all of them, not minimum wage, not fair wage, but a living wage. And then right to work should be enshrined as a fundamental right. What happened? Why is this not being done? Unless and until we guarantee right to work and a living wage to each one of those working class person, and 8 hours of work, you cannot increase that to 12 hours and the same wage, etc. So all of these are completely, to be rejected. They are unacceptable. We need to raise our voice together with these trade unions and other human rights groups.
Swamiji, what is your message for the voluntary organizations and trade unions and organizations working for the betterment of the migrant labor and bonded labor in this crisis situation? What is your message?
I see their message is loud and clear. Our message is that let us be the voice of the voiceless and the most disadvantaged. That is the duty. That is our dharma. That is the only way we can worship our Creator. If Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which the Prime Minister has repeated so many times, and this time again, I think Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means we are one family, entire humanity. Now take Indian situation. In this family, who are the weakest, the most vulnerable? In our small family, the smallest child gets attention first, and the breadwinner takes his or her share the love. That is how a family survives and grows. Now, who are the most vulnerable and the poorest of the poor? Gandhiji had also given us a talisman that all development should start from bottom upwards, from Antyodaya to Sarvodaya. But we neglected Gandhiji. And everything was neglected. Our Indian Constitution stands up for justice, economic, social, and political. But we have not translated that, except paying rituals, etc., bowing down before Indian Constitution by your Prime Minister. So these ritualistic things should stop, and we should be honest about implementing Indian Constitution as every Indian's Dharma Shastra.
Swamiji, what is your one-word appeal and demand to state governments and central governments?
Take care of these migrant laborers first. Right now and here, make sure that not one single laborer suffers or dies of hunger, starvation, or lack of facilities of transport. Make sure that they are given all facilities at the cost of the central government, the trains, etc., buses by the state governments, and everything else. And don't go in for any other excuse. This is, I think, should be the demand of each one of us, and we should force these governments to come to terms with this tragedy.
It is the responsibility of the government to protect the migrant and unorganized laborers in India. More than 42 crores of the laborers are suffering with different problems since last 2 months of the lockdown. Even international laws and Supreme Court of India also intervened in this subject and suggested and formulated guidelines for the protection of the migrant labor. I don't know why state and central government are ignoring and why they are not showing attention more on migrant labor issues who are not able to do bread and butter. Swami Agnivesh, thanks for joining with our Nota TV Power Talk. It's a valuable suggestion and valuable discussion with you. And whatever you suggested with the NGOs and Government of India and respective state governments, it's a valid point. And we and you all will work for the protection of the labor fraternity. Thanks for joining with Nota TV Power Talk.
Thank you so much, Silveri.
Signing up, Silveri Srisailam for Nota TV.